All right, this is basically the final of doing two antennas to one television set. Now, I did memorize what channels I did get. I got uh, PBS and PBS Kids, 21 with a bunch of sub channels, which Antenna TV is in there. And then, uh, yeah, and then Fox. Now, Fox, I don't remember if I get any more than one channel with Fox. But anyway, I think there is one sub with it. Well, anyway, so last night I went in and I blocked out the channels that are in Spanish and the one. Well, anyway, I blocked out the channels I don't watch. There's a lot of court television ones and murder mystery ones. I blocked them out. I don't want to see that stuff. So I'm clicking around. I'm going, this is pretty good. I got more channels now, and I stopped on PBS. I don't think it was a Nova. It might have been. No, it was too early for a Nova, but they were showing a platypus, and I know about platypuses. But anyway, I watched that for a few minutes. See, I sort of jump around. And then I had found Two and a Half Men, and I'm waiting, and it comes on, and it's the one where Charlie takes Jake to the track, and he wins all this money. Anyway, it's irrelevant. So there was a couple chuckles. I had seen that many times before, but every time you watch it, you catch the smaller jokes. Anyway, so now I'm waiting for the next episode to come on, and this disclaimer comes up. Anyway, it was real quick. What's going on? Well, I went into there's going to be an infomercial now for a half hour, so you can bet online with your cell phone. And that's how Fox ended last night for me. I think before that, there's a game show, Family Feud, before Two and a Half Men. See, only a few years ago, you had Seinfeld, and Two and a Half Men. It was like a blockbuster night, and that doesn't happen anymore. Friends and Seinfeld are on during the day. So things have changed. I knew this was going to happen. You know, even when you do finally figure out how to get the channels, something's going to go wrong. Now, someone mentioned in the comments section I should have set the antennas up in a different room in the house, but you don't get as much signal. The other thing too is one antenna is already up there. It's in position for Philly, and I know it works, and I don't want to touch that. I want to add to that, and that's what I did. Now, the trick was both leads, each lead that goes to each antenna off the combiner has to be the same length. That's the trick, and it has to be quality wire. That's the trick. Now, if you go looking, you'll find people, I put one antenna on one end of the roof, and they didn't do that. But they're in a strong enough signal area where they can get away with it. Now, I noticed that after doing some tests with this Flying Wing wine guard, it's for a camper. And it's an antenna you crank up and down. I bought one of those. It's amplified. This is back when you really had no choice. And I hooked that. I set that one up. And I got the Pocono channel and this other one. And what I realized is if you want to get the really good channels, like Fox and PBS, you have to aim the antenna a certain place towards Harrisburg. Now, on a different tower, there's a low frequency signal for, I got to think about it now, ABC. That's almost impossible to get that channel. But that's over there. But when you aim at that tower, you get a religious channel, 49, and is it the Poconos over there too? There's some other channel. So you have to sit down and decide what you're going to be able to pick up. And you're going to lose some channels. In my area, you may have two markets that have one tower, and it's going to be a piece of cake. I always have these problems. You know what I mean? Nothing goes smoothly. And then one of the comments, I was talking about drilling holes in cars for speakers. Way back, the back deck had no cutout in it, and I'd be under there, and I was the guy. And a guy would come up to me, and he'd say, I hear you put a speaker in Donald's car. Can you put one in mine? And I never think, you know, give me 20 bucks. I never thought that way. And you always thought the person would come back and help you. And they did. One guy did help me. He came fishing with us. So this one friend of mine that I grew up with, I would bring his his friends would either go fishing or go get drunk, or get drunk the night before and want to throw up in the morning. But anyway, I would take them fishing. So we got to the lake, and they didn't have any money for a boat. So the four of us were in a boat, and the one kid's complaining to me. He has asthma really bad, and this friend I grew up with was a secret smoker, and he didn't want me to know he was smoking. But he got this kid to start smoking, and the kid was having all kinds of problems with the asthma, you know. But I'm in a boat with these four idiots. I have three idiots, so I'm an idiot too. But anyway, and the one kept going up in the keel, and I'm rowing. They tried rowing, and after 3 or 4 minutes, this is hard. This is rough. I see. I can row almost all day, and I have girly arms, but my muscles aren't bound, muscle bound. They're very flexible back then, and I could row, and I wouldn't have any problems the next day. And I had two different types of paddling. I could paddle two oars at the same time, or alternating oars. A person taught me alternating oars. I don't know what you actually call it, but we were on Lake Apacon a few times, and they didn't have their trout stamp, so if they caught a trout, they'd hide it in their tackle box. Really stupid stuff. And then one kid got out of the boat and he wanted to go to the bathroom, so he come back and he goes, oh, "I'm confused." And I looked over at the bathroom. I said, "You're an outboard." "Well, how do you know that?" I'm like, "Dude, inboard is a woman, outboard is a man." This kid wasn't. He was pretty cool, but he got totally baffled. He got up to the bathrooms, and I think of some of the stuff that people are like, "How'd you figure that out?" Well, you know, I sort of, when I'm peeing and I look down, it's like an outboard motor. It's not an inboard motor, you know. But he's like just staring at me. People are like, "How do you figure this stuff out?" I don't know. You know, I just have an intuitive mind back then. I will not say now. Now it's really rough getting something done. Like, was it 2 years ago? I got the idea of adding two antennas to the television, and everybody, oh, it's just so simple. No, it's not. If you use two different length wires, uh, it's going to crap out. And then if you use crappy wires like I used, which somebody gave me for helping them, um, you're going to lose signal in those wires, because the wires that they gave me were for regular cable television. They weren't for TV. They're more lossy. But anyway, it's funny, this stuff. You know, I know how to do certain things. And going up that, you got to remember, there's a pull down staircase. I don't know if you ever climbed on one of them. They're like a little crappy little wooden ladder. And I'm standing on that, leaning in to the room and putting wires on stuff, rotating the antenna, and there's all insulation blown in there. That's the pink Panther stuff. Is it DuPont? Anyway, it's the pink stuff, and you can't get that on your hands because your hands will itch. Uh, it's just Dow Corning. That sounds right. Dow Corning, the insulation. I might have said that. Well, anyway, when you get my age, you get a little daffy, and doing this is to stay busy. But also, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, it'd be nice to see Two and a Half Men again. You know, now I can, like, during the day, if it's raining, I can pop on an episode of Friends or Seinfeld, or they might even be on at lunchtime. I'll have to check. I have to get my schedule set up. But I know every once in a while when you get a series going on television, and the fall comes, they just, you know, like the Monk, they yanked it off Me TV. They moved, they yanked off Defy Television on me. You know, I keep making adjustments, but they keep screwing me over. Oh, and then before bedtime, Frasier's Kind of Funny, and it would get me up to 9 o'clock. And now MASH gets me to 8, but then I got another hour because I go to bed at 9. And the reason I go to bed at 9 is I start yawning so bad I almost dislocate my jaw. And I sit there and I'm like, oh. And if I get up and move around, now when I do get in bed, I can't fall asleep. And this is the stuff you go through when you're retired. And I've talked to other people that are retired, and when they're honest, they tell me the same damn thing. You have to stay busy during the day, both mentally and physically, and then you'll sleep good at night. As you get older, it's harder and harder to stay asleep. So you stay busy during the day, physically and mentally, and then you go to bed and you'll notice you got an ache or pain from doing something during the day. Now you're laying there, and bedtime, you feel pain more, and then you'll go, okay, I'll roll over and put that leg over this way. And then as you're rolling over, you pull a muscle. I'm not kidding you how ridiculous this stuff gets when you get retired, you know. And then whenever I had a prostate operation, but whenever it goes from really hot to really cold, which it did last night, my body starts shedding water, and I have to pee more often. I have to get up more often. But I also I had problems with gas because I started getting lazy and I started buying food. Purdue chicken in the bag. It's pre deep fried. That kills me. Same with the pizzas, Red Baron pizza. It kills me. It gives me gas really bad. And then I drink a lot of soda. That isn't good. And I've been slowly changing my ways. But last night was not a good night. And it should have been a great night because I got the antenna all settled out. And no, it wasn't. So I just want to tell you, it does work. And I don't know if you're going to think the programming is going to be worth it. Like I said, I knew going into it when I got extra stations, would the stations have programs I didn't want to watch? But I have to see what stations I can get. It would be nice to get Laugh, which is on the ABC antenna, which is in another direction in Harrisburg. That was the repack. They must have moved that thing twice, and people complain, and then they sort of appease them a little bit, but they don't really care about us free people, free television people over the air. They have to have the station over the air in order to sell it to cable systems. That's the whole game. And the government forces them to have stations over the air. Now, I'm surprised Trump didn't step into that, have them go over and talk to him. And, yeah, you don't get paid. Meanwhile, there are commercials, unmerciless commercials. Oh, the commercials are all different now. The commercials show this. First, everybody's walking around with a banana, but it's representing a gun that shoots pellets of like a bear spray. See, I'm going to forget the name of the spray. Pepper spray? Bear spray? Pepper spray. There's one more name for pepper spray. Anyway, they're using a banana, but the other channel actually shows the gun. And the one channel shows the banana, shows you a link that you can go see what the thing looks like. Pepper spray. Oh, it's pepper spray, right? Now I'm going to forget the other word. See, this is what happens to you all. It's cognitive decline. And that's what Trump has. And he shouldn't be president. When you start declining in your old age, you shouldn't be president of the United States. It's that simple. Pepper spray. Wait. Oh, man. Bear spray? Yeah, bear spray, pepper spray. And there's one more thing. Everybody's going to write it in the comment. You guys wait till you get older. And I didn't have that much sleep last night. And they call it shading, I think. In the afternoon, when you're older, you have to have a nap. They pulled that on one of the episodes of Seinfeld to get rid of George's father. They made the meeting in the afternoon. Elaine was trying to get rid of George's father. He got a job with her, and he goes, "Yeah, just hold the meeting in the afternoon." And then as soon as he got in the meeting, he realized he was too tired, and he got up and left. But all these things come, now after I eat my frosted mini donuts, and I'm halfway through my banana, and I'll go for over an hour walk, and then come back, and I got laundry to do and stuff like that. But yeah, the antenna turned out good. It could, yeah, of course, it could be better. I could get more channels, and but Harrisburg is bullshit. That's why at some point I said, you know what? I've had enough of this. And I turned the antenna around the field, and I got all these stations. And I got ones that I didn't get. Like I got Cozy, and the scheduling was pretty good. But right after that, they pulled my Defy. You know, it's because they don't care. They don't. They don't. It's just they have to have certain stations in order to be able to sell the station on to the cable company. Because people that have cable want the stuff we have through the air, even though it's junk. It's absolutely horrible. Antenna TV is those old 80 the Jeffersons and the Ropers. Oh my God, that was on. I was like, oh my God, that was a spin off of Three's Company, and you're watching it. It wasn't funny back then, but they made enough episodes where they can put it in syndication. I can't believe I remember the name syndication. Yeah, as you get older, you lose words for a few minutes. But I can't think of the bear spray, pepper spray. Ah, there's one more word. Now here they call it bear spray. In New Jersey, they called it something else. Oh, so it's sort of on the tip of my tongue. The moment I shut this video off, it'll come to me. I'm just warning you. Old age isn't for sissies. Okay, I think that's it. All right, that's it.